Alright, cool. So right now I want to unpack the song Miracle from my latest album, Don't Worry.
For every hard time, there's a miracle. When we're going where we're supposed to go. When we're going where we're supposed to go, Lord, help us go where we're supposed to go.
Yo, this song right here is it takes me a little time to unpack. In fact, this is my second video. The first video was 22 minutes long. And I know everybody to everybody time is precious. So I was like, all right, we got to cut that down. So I'm gonna give another attempt. And I'm wasting time by telling you this right now. So that's just how deep Miracle goes. So just fasten on your seatbelts and get ready for a ride. Miracle was a song that was literally, I don't know, let's see, 2015 to 2020. So that's 5 years in the making. Miracle was the foundation record for the album Don't Worry. Now, mind you, I made other records, and I don't want to bore y'all with this, but I want to get straight to the point and to the heart of the matter. I made other records that didn't make Don't Worry, the album. But Miracle was the first record that I started in the beginning stages that actually made the record. And it was the first song that I worked on well, I'm repeating myself, that made the record, all right? And then the other one started adding on. So Miracle, I heard that beat back in 2015. At the time, I wasn't using other producers' beats. I was just using my own due to budgeting and also due to I wanted to establish my own sound and my own movement. And by the grace of Jesus, I think I've done that. And we're just building on that. But I heard the beat back in 2015. And at the time, I was going through a difficult time, particularly financially. At the time, me and my wife had made another step of faith in a chain of steps of faith that we've made over the years. And one of them was her leaving her full-time job and to do real estate full-time. And for those who know our story, you know that wasn't an overnight journey. My wife has very much excelled in real estate, but it didn't just happen like that. It took years of building and years of just hanging on to Jesus for our faith and trusting him to provide. At the time, I was working a few jobs and doing a lot of things, and it just wasn't enough for what we had at the time. So anyway, we were trusting Jesus, man, trusting God, obeying him, and trusting that he'll provide. So it got a little tough financially, but, I would notice things would happen because we obeyed, because we trusted, that even though it was tough, God still made a way. There was still like rams in the thicket or rams in the bushes that we didn't see. But when we made the step of faith, man, there's different things that happen. I remember one time when we had a choice whether to pay rent or put down the earnest money on our first home. And we felt the Lord telling us to put down the earnest money, but we wouldn't have any money for rent. And, we did that and we just trusted God, like, Lord, you're going to have to provide. We didn't tell anybody. We just kind of kept it in house. And long story short, my grandmother hit me up. Shout out to Granny Barbara, my granny. She hit me up and she was like, Vi, the Lord is putting on my heart to give you and the family something. So I drove all the way from Montgomery to Goodwater, Alabama. Shout out to Goodwater. Shout out to K-Town, Kellerton. And my grandmother blessed us with more than enough money to pay our rent. And she had no idea what was going on at the time. So these were just things. So having said that, this chorus came to my heart. For every hard time, there's a miracle when you're going where you're supposed to go. Because we had a hard time and we saw a miracle because I believe we were going in the direction that God wanted us to go, that Jesus paid the price for us to be able to go in. So that hook came to me way back in 2015. And I heard that beat from SM Tracks, who's produced for T.I., Kodak Black, and other notables. Shout out to SM. And I just told the Lord, I said, Lord, I pray that I can have this beat when the time is right. And fast forwarded to about the end of 2019, I come across that producer again, and I asked him, did he still have that beat available? And he did. And it was affordable for my budget at the time. In fact, God had increased us so much to where I was able to buy a couple of beats from him. Because up until that time, I was producing my own records. And so that worked out. And fast forward to the record, 2020, top of 2020, I'm writing the record. And initially, I was going to sing the chorus myself. No, I can't sing. I'm not a singer. But, rappers be harmonizing and coming up with melodies. I thought I could slide through with that. And I went in the studio and did it myself. And I did the first verse and the second verse. And Dru Toney, who's a very talented rapper in Montgomery, Alabama, he reached out to me about doing the track together. And that was one that I thought we should do. So he laid his verse down beautifully. And the third verse, that's Dru Toney. And at the end of it, I really didn't even remember that Dru sang, because he sang and he rap. I just wanted him for the raps. But at the end of it, I was like, man, Dru, you sing, just sing a little bit at the end. Just give me a little something. So he ended up singing the hook that I was doing. For every hard time, there's a miracle. When we're going where we're supposed to go. He sung that just as a tagline at the end. I take the record home and I'm listening to it, and I'm not quite happy with my first verse, and my hook was a little iffy. And even my oldest daughter, shout out to Sanaya, she was like, Dad, I don't know about that hook. So I was like, you know what? Let's put Dru, what he did at the end, let's just use that as the hook. So I put that together, put a little rough part together for that to put Dru in the hook. It worked out beautifully. And then my first verse I wasn't really feeling. So, you know, I remember I was taking my oldest son, young Dal, to school one day, and it just hit me. Holla at the homie Rockette. And Rockette is one of my day one homies, man. Larry Rockette is a solid dude. He's a part of the group Life Through Colors, and they've been rocking with me from day one, particularly Rockette, man. He's a special dude, man. We talk offline about stuff that has nothing to do with music. And he's a big inspiration and a big bro to me. So I thought about him, and I hit him up like, bro, man, you know, go on and bless me one time. And he came through and he blessed that first verse beautifully. And man, that record just came together. And, you know, all three of us, you know, we reside right here in Montgomery, Alabama. You know, we was putting the record together, and then I got the idea, instead of starting it with music, let's start it with just the acapella of Dru singing For Every Hard Time There's a Miracle, because that's not how the beat is formatted. The beat has an intro, and then it goes into the first verse. We took that intro out, just let Dru do acapella, and then Rockette just kick it right off. And for my verse, man, is really coming from a place of pain. If you really listen to this album is really resemblance to David and the Psalms, the book of Psalms, and how, you know, David was praying to God, but he was crying out to the Lord. And he was telling him about his triumphs. He was telling him about his trials, the doubts that he had, all of that. And so when you listen to my verse, I'm really praying. Like, a lot of the verses on this album is me talking to Jesus, talking to God. And you can hear how I'm talking to him. But by the end of it, it gets to a light place, in a place of hope, in a place of promise. And my bros, man, like I said, Rockette just killed it with his scheme of, you know, everything being a miracle, those hard times for him. And Dru just brought it home with just that groundness of scripture, and his flow and his cadence is always beautiful. It's always A1. So Miracle was literally a song that was years in the making. It was really a promise from the Lord coming to fruition. And man, it was beautifully done, man. So I'm really proud of that record. And yeah, for every hard time, there's a miracle when you're going where we're supposed to go, you know, when just the whole premise of, you know, I obeyed you, Jesus. And what I mean by obey you, what I mean by, I'm not talking about, you know, a list of laws and commands necessarily. I'm talking about that relationship. I'm big on having a relationship with Jesus, a relationship with the Lord, and the things that he's put in our heart to do. I remember there was a time when I was really taking my faith seriously, and he was putting on my heart to marry, you know, and then she was my baby mom and my girlfriend. Now is my wife, Miss Brittany Moon. But he was like, you need to marry her, even at a time when I didn't think I was ready. But I knew, because at the time I was praying for wisdom, and I just knew that if I followed the wisdom of the Lord, he would bless us, he would take care of us, and that'd be the best route for my life. Even if I didn't feel like I was ready, even if I felt like, you know, I had some thugging to get out of my system, whatever. I was just like, you know what, Lord, I trust you. And every time I obeyed him and took steps of obedience, he's always provided when hard times came up. He's always either given us an inner strength to go through it, or, you know, open up the Red Seas and parted Red Seas like he did in a situation with my grandmother, and just did miracles. You know what I mean? And either one is a miracle. Whether it's the grandmother situation, not knowing what's going on, hey, I want to bless you, or the situation where, you know, there's a time when our power went out, lights went out in the house, and there was no miracle situation, but we had a strength because we knew that the Lord was with us. We knew we obeyed, and we got kids in the house and everything. We spent 2 days with no power. You know what I mean? And we had a strength to go through that until my parents were able to bless us and help us in that situation. And by the grace of Jesus, in this situation of us living on faith and leaving jobs. I left my job shortly after my wife to do ministry full time. By his grace, we never had to ask anybody for money. Only one time really where it's just like, yo, I need some help. And that was the situation with the power going out and we here with the kids. But even with that, man, we're just grateful to see his provision, his blessing. And now, you see this space that I'm in. I have my own studio. I could go through the list of the things that he's blessed us with, and maybe we'll do that in time. But I just want to stop here and just let you know, for every hard time, there is a miracle when you're going where you're supposed to go. And you may say, well, what do you mean when I'm going where I'm supposed to go? When you're trusting Jesus with your life, when you're saying, Lord, I don't know how you do, show me the way, and you follow through with that, you obey. And even if it seems hard to obey, asking him, running it by him, saying, Lord, I don't know if this is you. Can you confirm this? Because he will. There's been many times where he's confirmed our journeys to us in terms of what we do, whether it's full-time ministry or even having more kids. When we started out this journey, we only had 2 children, and we leave jobs and we have more kids, and he blesses us with even more. That's the grace of Jesus. That's the beauty of him fulfilling his promise to us to take care of us when we allow him to. And I think that's ultimately what he wants. Will you allow me to take care of you? Will you allow me to come in and show you that I'm the provider, I'm the healer, I'm the wisdom, I'm the protector? You know what I mean? And I want you to be a recipient of that. So Miracle is one of the standout tracks. I get a lot of feedback, and rightly so. Because as you hear in this story, it wasn't a track that just came up like this. In fact, none of the records on this album came up just like overnight. There's a story behind each record, and I hope you enjoyed the story behind Miracle.
For every hard time, there's a miracle. When we're going where we're supposed to go. When we're going where we're supposed to go, Lord. Help us go where we supposed to go.
Late night with my partner, now I'm having fun, dawg, like it's supposed to go. Shots 5 minutes, hit the house, nobody touched, that's a miracle. Mad now, wanna fire back. Homeboy said Rockette, let it go. Glad he was there to calm me down, I consider that to be a miracle. Baby mama got me locked up, did one night, then they let me go. Went to court, all charges dropped, I consider that to be a miracle. Pulled out in front of that car, knocked to the other side of the road. No broken bones in my body, just one scratch, that's a miracle. She left, said she done with me. I was kinda forced to just let her go. Thought about committing suicide, but I didn't know. That's a miracle. Codeine mixed with liquor, dog. Had your boy moving on super slow. Still here to talk about that, you already know that's a miracle. The average meal would be hysterical, but I just count my miracles. God had his hand on me. He never let me go. No regrets, I'm glad about it. Still here to brag about it. Every hard time I've been through, I laugh about it.
For every hard time, there's a miracle. When we're going where we're supposed to go. When we're going where we're supposed to go, Lord. Help us go where we're supposed to go. For every hard time, there's a miracle. When we're going where we're supposed to go. When we're going where we're supposed to go, Lord. Help us go where we're supposed to go.
When we be trucking flaming darts, help me duck them. Took a couple hits, took a couple trips, round in circles, learned from it quick. Man, I wanna quit, but I'm purchased. You didn't quit on me. I don't wanna leave from your presence. You can have my dreams. I don't wanna go if you ain't present. Yeah, it sounds clean, but lately my emotions isn't pleasant. Could it really be that I'm failing, headed for depression? I stop and breathe, then let go of all my stressing. Continue pressing, enjoying your blessings as I learn lessons. Feeling messy, but I believe that you are present, so it's finished. Got many troubles, but you deliver me from them. My past is my past, but the present I'm ready for it. The future I release it, ain't worried about that. Can't be anxious about it neither. You take care of that, and I'ma live just like you told me, Lord. And if I fall, I'm landing in your arms, because for every hard time, there's a miracle. When we're going where we're supposed to go. When we're going where we're supposed to go, Lord. Help us go where we're supposed to go. For every hard time, there's a miracle. When we're going where we're supposed to go. When we're going where we're supposed to go.
We ain't got enough.
told from those who walk uprightly. And every high thing that is all itself, I'ma cast it down like lightning. Walking out my own soul salvation, keep it in check like Nike. Everything God say, I'm biting, and I'ma use it in a fight like Tyson. Gotta stay humble, can't fumble. I done seen good things in gun smoke, and I wanna go back with him when the Trump blow. But I need him right now like pronto. Be anxious for nothing, no gun code, cause it might not turn out like the sun hold. But every time I turn around, he's working it out, got me leaving for joy like junk bro. He's a miracle worker, still a miracle worker. You're barely scratching the surface if you don't know him as a miracle worker. Turn water into wine, even coal into diamonds. Sits outside of time, but if you seek him, you can find him. He'll lead a 99. Now the search and rescue mission is on. And all this time you thought you was alone, but he can see everything from the throne. Omnipresent, omniscient, he's everywhere. Just keep on walking cause he never left. All things work together for the good. You can depend on God cause he hears every breath. For every hard time there's a miracle. When we're going where we're supposed to go. When we're going where we're supposed to go. Lord, help us go where we're supposed to go. For every hard time there's a miracle. When we're going where we're supposed to go.
Don't let the hard times stop.
When we're going where we're supposed to go.
Trust him.
Lord,
in that
help
hard
us
time.
go where we're supposed to go.
He did it, he did it, he did it.